Welcome back to another episode of Shots N Shanks. I'm your host, Eric, joined by,
Kyle. And how's it going, everybody?
and this is episode, what episode is this? 8?
7, I think.
7? 7.
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's 1, 2, guest, another, us. Yeah, I think it's 7.
7. All right.
It's weird, man. It's weird to start to have to keep track of the numbers now.
Yeah. Nah,
Wild.
I mean we've been having fun and enjoying it the entire time. So
Yeah,
hopefully
yeah,
everybody, listening also.
Yeah, hopefully. I mean, most of the feedback I've been getting has been pretty good, but we're always obviously open to more. So
definitely open to feedback.
Yeah.
So we're gonna kick it off with a little shot, and then maybe we'll talk about some shanks.
Yeah. Well, I got some stories about that one.
Pretty basic again. I've got a shot of Jack.
Nice. I've got the that blackberry crown, but I do have it in this Austria shot glass. So my thing was collecting shot glasses when I visited places. So this was from one of the trips to Austria.
That's kind of cool. And we used to do kind of similarly the same thing, but it was like every place that had a Hard Rock, we would get a shot glass from the Hard Rock.
Oh, nice. Okay, yeah. That's cool. I know a lot of people will collect like magnets and stuff too.
Yeah, postcards used to be.
Yep. Yeah, right. Or like stamp collection.
Stamps. Go to the.
All right. Well, cheers, everybody. Here's the shot to start us off. Still tastes kind of like cough syrup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jack still tastes like Jack.
So, yeah, you were talking about shanks. Well, I got shanked by life, I guess you could say, yesterday, and I have to now remember to tell everybody that I'm 36 instead of 35. Ooh. So,
yeah, happy birthday day later.
Yeah, well, it's I don't know, it's just weird to think like 3 dozen trips around the sun. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that is crazy. Especially when you think about like more than that and like what's truly our one revolution in our galaxy.
Right? Yeah. Dude, I just
not even worth talking about.
No, but just thinking about like longevity. There's a guy that I recently learned about. I want to say he lived to be like 104 or something. He's like, some World War II vet that just like did the dirt he had to get by and then made it to like 104. It's just like, damn, like what a lucky son of a bitch to be put through the shit that you went through and like make it that long. That's crazy.
Man. Yeah, a show I was watching recently, we kind of binged up into, I guess, the release of the episodes. It's on Prime. It's called Rogue Heroes. Pretty cool. But it was
you told me about that.
Yeah, it's in World War II formation of the SAS. It's super cool. It's like got comic relief, like the whole bit. It's super good.
Well, you know what's funny is that's one thing that I feel like I've always heard from. I mean, I don't know if you've ever heard it too, because I know you've probably talked to people that have been in the field and whatnot. But like, anytime I talk to people that have been in the field with like coalition forces, or you listen to podcasts and whatnot, they always say that like the British SAS and the Australians and whatnot and the New Zealanders and stuff, that they're always like really well squared away. They're good dudes, but they're super, like they're still comical even in like deadly, like life-threatening situations. It's like their dry sense of humor and just like, I got to do what I got to do. Let's at least make it fun while we have to, like it's just, I don't know, it's interesting, but it's cool.
I will say like a couple of run-ins downrange with both the Brits and the Aussies. Their ordnance or ammo, however you would say it, is like they seemed super
way more
chill.
lax, aren't they?
Yeah, they're super chill. I mean, at least in my interactions, it wasn't like a whole lot of like comical relief or anything like that. But
no, and you know what, that might.
It was more so like the stuff that we brought up. Like when they do their countermeasures, it's a little bit different. Like I won't get into details, but
a little fast and loose.
We kind of like look at it and we're like, fuck, we could be doing that.
Yeah. No, but we keep our people safe at least, but
yeah,
but no, I'm just, and also you have to think too, probably happens that kind of an attitude or like outlook on stuff that probably happens a little more with like combat roles, infantrymen and whatnot, because like they're literally facing death like pretty much any time they go out on a mission. So like if you can't make light of that, you're just gonna be fucking down in the
yeah.
dumps the whole
I will
time. Yeah.
say that like their deployment cycle is way better than ours. Like
Oh, okay.
while
Are
we've
they doing like 3 months or
tried
something?
to switch from 9 to 6 to 4 month rotations back to 6 month rotations, and you can't change it too much because I mean
Contingency.
it's an engine that's going and it's hard to change.
Yeah.
But like they get kind of like a mid tour. If you were like in a remote tour, like overseas
Oh,
assignment that
okay.
was
They
a
get a
short
trip
tour, like
home.
yeah, they get it.
Nice.
Halfway through, they get a trip home, paid for. It's a couple weeks, and then they come
Nice,
back to
nice,
it.
nice.
Also, alongside that, their deployments are much less than ours, like as far as duration goes.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, different strokes for different folks, I guess.
Could tell you got older. You gotta squeak them lenses. Be like, am I seeing the same? Did
I
my
can
glasses
see
dirty?
just fine, you bastard. No, honestly, I got lucky with my vision. I was told by a doctor at my first base when I went and got my eyes checked. They said, "Well, you probably see about 20/25 by default, which is like, standard definition TV, a little lesser than.
Yeah,
But your eyes are wired to
close.
see 2015. So when I have my glasses on, I actually see like better than 2020.
Yeah, when I did my medical before I was joining it, like they told me I had 2017,
Oh, nice.
which I
That was an
mean,
interesting year.
yeah, I don't know. Like I don't know what it means other than it's supposed to be better than 2020. Like that's all I
Wait,
can say. I
was
don't know.
2017 when we went to Rocklahoma? Was it
Um,
2017 or 2018?
so
Can't remember.
I got to Little Rock in 2016.
Right, and I got to
My first
Georgia in
Rocklahoma
2017.
was in 2016.
So it might have been 2017 when I first got to Georgia, because I got to Georgia in like March.
March
Which what
of 17. You got there
Rocklahoma
in
is?
17.
Yeah, which Rocklahoma is what, Memorial Day weekend ish?
It was at the time. Now it's
Yeah.
Labor.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think that might
I
have been
think
the year.
they switched like I think it was COVID. COVID in 2021 or whatever
I mean,
year
it's
that
probably whatever was
I'm not
available to
even
them they
tracking.
had to adjust to.
But that delayed Memorial Day weekend for Oklahoma, and they kicked it off in Labor Day, and they said that they always intended it to be in Labor Day, and
Mm.
so every year after that it stayed in Labor Day.
Yeah, it's like the like Labor Day weekend is almost like the like the unofficial celebration of like the end of summer kind of.
What you got in koozie there? Murder your what?
Oh, it's liquid death koozie.
Oh, murder your thirst.
Yeah, I thought, but what's inside of it is it's Modelo time.
So you had your birthday yesterday.
Yeah, so
What'd
didn't
you get into?
honestly
Or
my
even the
birthday
day
was.
before because it was Friday, Saturday. So
I was gonna
what'd you
say my
do
birthday
Friday,
was
Saturday?
pretty uneventful. I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just hung around. You and I watched you play some of a horror game that we can talk about if we want. And then I was chilling for a bit, ate some pretty good food, and then got myself like a food coma. I didn't really sleep well the night before because I stayed up a little bit, and then
Thinking about
ended
what
up.
the hairline was going to be like the next day.
Yeah,
Or...
yeah, I was worried about a lot of things. It's like, oh, dude, am I gonna find gray in my pubes now? Like, who knows? And and so I got to get some just for men for downstairs. Um,
Do they make that? Or is it you just got to buy the beard one?
yeah, right. Yeah, yeah. Just the smaller comb. Um, and so
The
anyway, so I
flea
just
comb?
chilled out and was thinking about gaming later, but I passed out and I set an alarm, but my tired ass must have shut it off in my sleep because didn't wake up till like 12:30, and then of course
Dang.
was up until like 4:35 in the morning because I couldn't really sleep or whatever. Oh no, I'm sorry. That's a lie. I woke up at like 12:30 and then or like around like 12-ish, and then got to bed by like 1 or so because I had to wake up early for golf today. But yeah, I golfed on Friday and today, and so plenty of shanks to speak of. That's for sure.
Ooh, yeah. What was your score today?
Oh, actually, today's kind of funny. I think me and my buddy Kevin basically came in second place. So our buddy Taylor beat us with a 103. We both, which is terrible. We both had 110, which Kevin never plays that bad, wildly enough. So I don't know if he was just sandbagging to make me feel better on my birthday, but I feel real good tying his ass because I'm never fucking close to that.
That is crazy.
Yeah, and then we had a fourth buddy of mine that joined, and he wasn't doing so hot, so he kind of stopped keeping track of the score and was like, "I'm 100 some," and I'm pretty sure he was higher than us.
So, what about your golf group? Can you explain the golf group that you're in and what you guys have started, and if there's more people in the area that would like to join, or even start
Oh yeah,
more
yeah.
more factions, I guess, in other areas?
So there's not more factions in other areas.
Not yet, but
No,
who
and
knows?
exactly. There definitely could be. It'd be awesome to have affiliated places. So basically, when I first got to Texas, I decided, golf and jujitsu were going to be my staying active or staying in shape kind of outlets, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined a couple of DFW golf groups or whatever on Facebook, and from one of them, a guy branched off and made his own group called Double Bogey Golf. And damn, I feel like I should go grab my hat. I'll do that in a second. But anyway, so he set it up, and it's basically just like it's in the name itself, Double Bogey Golf. Like, obviously not expecting to be great, right? But the best part is we've got scratch golfers, we've got guys that are probably hitting like 130 or whatever, but we just go out there as like a big ass group. Whenever he gets the chance, he'll book a bunch of tee times. We'll go out. There'll be like, at least 16 or more of us. And so we'll have like 4 tee times back to back or whatever. And we just make the rule of, 3 over, just pick it up and move on for the sake of keeping pace of play. But it's really just all about networking, just like finding more people to golf with, getting out, meeting people, and and I've been lucky with all the people that I've been paired up with, even when I go play by myself. Like 9 times out of 10, I'm leaving the course, giving someone my contact information and being like, "Hey man, worst case scenario is I have to say no, but I'm always open to an extra invite for golf."
It's definitely like, can I take your contact info, dude? Like, I could definitely win money off you.
I get fucked. I mean, also potentially true, yeah. But I just tell people all the time, I'm like, "Hey man, like, worst case is you check out the group and you don't like it, but it's really just a bunch of guys that want." Well, dude, guys and girls. Girls are welcome too, So
I love the idea because one of the biggest things for me was I lived in Arkansas for 8 years. I lived right on the fairway of course. We had a men's group. Played Tuesday afternoons, played Saturday mornings.
Nice.
And then I met a lot of good friends from there. And then when I moved out here, it was like,
fuck, what are you gonna do?
Yeah,
Start from scratch again,
joined a club, but this club they don't pair tee times. It's private.
That's one thing that when you told me that, dude, I was actually kind of like, that kind of made me a little sad for you, to be honest with you. Like,
it's
like,
just one of those things. Like,
way, but
it's just one of those things. Private club. It's like if you want to go play by yourself, you can do it without.
I get it. Yeah, no, I understand. And then, but like you said, the problem is you could be like, "Hey, I'm willing to pair up with other people," but then it's like now the course has to call them and be like, "Hey, you willing to take a random?" Like.
Yeah. And so I've been here now in California for a year and 5 months, and so
it's one of those things where like the deal is hard to pass up, even though you have a better time at other places meeting different people.
Yeah. So it's like I can go to my course and I can play with me, the wife, or like whatever friend that I have that I can put on the tee time, or especially when I first got here, it was like I was playing by myself or the majority of the time. And then I started booking like solo tee times on Golf Now to the courses that are surrounding me, and ended up meeting like one or two friends there. So it's like
Ray?
Super nice. Yeah, Ray. Definitely Ray. Yeah.
What a character.
Yeah. Dude's
we should
awesome,
get him
man.
on here sometime.
Yeah. He has
He's
such
got a lot of stories about just living there for so long, you know?
Yeah, gosh, man.
He's got like,
there so long.
It's like generational for him now, right?
Union worker, 60, I think he's 60, 61 years old, 60 or 61.
But it's generational for him, right? Like his parents and grandparents, like they've all lived in California, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So like he's like established, like the Californian roots or whatever, you know, like at least further back than I'm used to experiencing for most people, I guess you could say.
Yeah. But yeah, he's super nice guy. He's such a good friend. He's one of those guys that like is super good friend, like you love to have around, and then when you golf and then you have a couple drinks, like, and you hang out afterward and you're like, man, this guy kind of talks a lot here and there, but
he does talk a lot.
Yeah,
but, I mean, so do I.
Love the dude.
And also,
love the dude though. Love the dude.
Get a bit of mood,
Yeah.
But
no, so but explaining what I was talking about, it's I got out here basically already had joined the club when I got out here, but it's like to meet friends and other people to golf with, I had to go to tee times around the area to be able to be paired with other people
or play on them
and find other people that either share the same interests or good at golf or yada yada. Yeah. But yeah, it's crazy because like that's like my friend matchmaking thing, it's like
dude golf
share the first tee box with somebody.
Dude, yeah.
You could be good, you can be ass at golf, it doesn't matter, but like if you guys have a vibe or a connection throughout the first 9 holes, like you'll know it, and shortly thereafter, after the 18th hole, you'll be like, hey, here's my number.
Yeah, dude,
would love to golf in the future.
Dude, if people are open to it, golf is an extremely social sport. Extremely social, because of the fact that you can get paired up with random. Huh?
That's what I love about your group.
Yeah, dude, and that's why I love the group too, man. And well, I mean, because you came to visit me, and it ended up being 2 guys from the group, and oddly enough, one of the dudes that I'm closer with now and played with today earlier, Taylor. That was my first time playing with him, and I just posted in the group like, hey, my friend's coming to town to visit. We're gonna play at this place. Anybody want in? And we got 2 people that jumped in, and that was my first time playing with him, and like we've been friends since. So it's yeah, dude, it's been an awesome group.
I didn't get any strokes though. It was kind of fucked up.
You didn't get any. Hey man, you bet that you were going to do something and then did, and we saved the man from potentially getting impaled by random objects because he was going to Superman into a creek. But instead we got him to do a bunker sand angel. Sorry.
Dude, what was the bet? I can't remember. It was
something about you chipping. I think on I
chipped
green.
In. I chipped in.
You might have chipped in. It had to have been something that good too. It couldn't have been just like I'm going to get it on the green.
I was looking at it. I was eyeballing it. I was looking behind the ball.
I think you did.
And it was like,
I
think it was like 25 feet. It was just off. It wasn't like in the fairway cut. It was like just in the rough next to the fairway, pretty flat. Maybe.
And I want to say that he was going to beat you on the hole, and you're like, not if I chip this in, I'll get par, and you're stuck with bogey or like some shit like that. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. And he was like, if you chip this in, he's like, I'll swan dive into this pond over there or whatever.
Yeah, he said he would fucking Superman dive into it, and I honestly, well, we all agreed that would just be unfortunate for him to have to drive home that wet. But I also was like, I brought up the fact, I was like, dude, I don't know what's in that water. Like, I don't want you to jump in and get, and like fucking, like, get 3 inches of a rod of fucking wood stuck into your thigh or some shit because you dived onto a log the wrong way or something. You know, like I don't know.
Well, that was my thing. Like I took him up on it, and then like I never would have chipped that ball in unless he said that. You know what I mean? Like I would have.
Yeah. Sorry,
I would have put it. I would have put it next to the hole and moved on with whatever the score was, par or bogey.
Fair.
But like he put that in my mind, and I was like, I'm gonna chip this in now, and I chipped it in, and then it was like I think right after we did that, we were talking about. I think I had mentioned you because I didn't know him as much as you did. And I was like,
yeah,
hey,
of course.
I was like, hey, I don't even think that's a good idea for him to dive into a pond that it could be rocks at 2 feet or whatever.
We all agreed. Yeah, we all fucking agreed that was probably a bad.
So I told them to what was it like Sand Angel or Sand Angel in the bunker.
We had him do a Sand Angel in the bunker, and I'm trying to find the video of it right now. Because I know I have that video, and I might be able to show it to the camera well enough, but I can't fucking find it. That was a great day too, though.
Yeah, that was fun.
I want to say that was I think that was at Texas Star, if I remember correctly. Huh?
I don't know the courses in your
area. I think it was Texas Star, if I remember correctly. And
both those places I thought
which is a beautiful course.
What was it? We played 2 when I was there? 2 or 3? 2. I can't remember, but I thought both of them were great.
We played 2 different courses. Oh, I found it.
The only thing I will say about the Dallas area is it was just like here, windy, super windy.
It can be. I found it. All right, here we go. Let's see if tell me when this is in focus. As good as it can be. Oh my god.
Yeah, make it closer.
Yeah,
it's focused. Yeah. Bet me I won't chip in. This is what happens, folks.
It's a little blurry. Oh, there we go. Perfect. Sort of.
You can see in his mind, he's like, fuck, I can't believe I'm doing this.
This is so much better than being wet, though.
Yeah, well, I'm diving onto a rock. He said he was going to swan dive into the pond.
But you know what? Too. I know. You know what? Good on you, David. Good. I think yeah, that's right. Sorry, I cut it off, but I ended up doing this. I was like,
that's hilarious.
Oh, good times, bro. Good times. Yeah, I had some decent times on Friday and today playing golf too. It's just the biggest thing for me is like I'm not good at golf. I'm just trying to have a good time while I'm out there. Of course. So like
there's there's golf for everybody. There's golf for everybody.
Yeah, like I get some good shots, but I'm just not as consistent as I wish I could be. And maybe
here's the misconception with it, and probably why it's taken so long. Like golf is taking off in the last 4 or 5 years ish. COVID had a big factor because
big time. Yeah, because it was like you could be outside and still play. It was it was one of the few things you could still do.
It was like I'm either stuck at home or I'm remote working, and my job's not entirely remote work. And so you could be out 5 days a week, or just trying to find something to do. And COVID boosted it a ton. And then, aside from COVID, was
the YouTube presence. I think.
Yeah, social media just kicked
big
it
time.
Off huge.
Like Bryson, and good.
Within the last I would say 2 years, you would never see PGA Tour players, just joining somebody's YouTube video for fun or, what be it. But now,
dude, I feel like they could get
because they used to be.
Sorry, they could get a payout with advertisers. I feel like now that would be like almost as good as just doing stuff on tour with the online shit because of the reach. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But the PGA used to be super weird about filming tour player swings. Like you used
almost like it was a secret.
Obviously, there's the rule in golf: don't stand directly behind somebody. but it's like
right. But you mean like
you
almost like it
used
was
to
like
not. Yeah, you used to not be able to. So you can have your phone at a PGA Tour event.
yeah.
And
But are you saying it was almost like they wanted to
let's take
keep it
this
a
back like
secret?
6 years. Let's take this
Are
back
you
like
saying?
6 years. You could
Can
have
I
your
just ask
phone.
though, like, are you saying like almost like keeping it a secret, like how they don't want you looking at like team practices in the NFL and shit?
I mean, I want to say yes and no. Like there's
Yeah.
different factors on both sides, but so let's take it back 6 years. You used to not, you used to be, be able to take your phone out, film somebody,
Mm-hmm.
mashed potatoes as they swing
Oh,
or
yeah.
whatever. But like
Big brick.
when that gets posted, if you're directly behind the player, they used to get upset and they'd be like, you can't film this player's swing because it was like coaching advice or something. There's a few things about it because a lot of people used to post tour player swings. They
And like
would go
slow it down and
behind. They would go
analyze.
They would go behind and they would go face on and they would slow it down so that you can see the exact arc and then
Who the fuck
shallowing the
cares,
club
dude?
and all that stuff. Exactly.
Like what?
So
Yeah.
the PGA Tour has came a long way and also has a long way to go because there's literally nobody in live that's going to stop any of it.
Right.
So like
Well, why should
good
you anyway? Like, I mean, I could record them on TV and slow it down as much as I want and analyze whatever. And like, who cares, dude? Like, whether or not you can analyze that
and
shit,
see
like, can you execute? Like, it's not like
here's the 2-3 part of it I was talking about. Those guys are volunteers on the PGA Tour that film that. Exactly. It's such
so they.
such an age old. The PGA Tour is ancient traditions, and they've done it for forever, kind of thing. And
I'm not going to get into it because we don't do that on this channel. But it's just like it's like countries that fund the terrorist organizations that they have a problem with. Like, what the fuck are you doing it for if you're just gonna complain about it the whole time? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Well, you got to think. So let's really like dive way back. You think about Augusta and the Masters and some of the the first PGA champions. It was a sport that they expected a certain look, they expected a certain swing, they expected a certain score, they expected a certain club that you use. It was
it was also
very,
much more
very
exclusive and
fine.
much more.
It
It
was
was much more
very narrow
exclusive.
focused. Yeah. And exclusive. It was very narrow focused. You didn't
Yeah.
see how these people were unless you were there.
Right.
Like
Right.
you might have
Well, there
saw.
wasn't as much broadcasting back then either,
Yeah, that too. But you might have saw, but
and
baseball,
people didn't have
football, and
phones.
all that.
You know.
Yeah, baseball and football,
Yeah.
were miles above that as far as broadcasting went. But it was like you
Well,
might have
also
saw.
people didn't have phones. You didn't get a fucking Facebook reel or an Instagram reel or some shit either. You know.
Yeah, but it was just insane. You
But
might
even the
have
professional side,
saw
I agree with you.
Arnold Palmer or Ben Hogan like hit one shot, and then they swung the ball, took off, and the camera went away, and they're like, oh, he did this, and oh, that's
Well, that's
excellent.
also I
The
feel like.
choice that he did. But like
Well, I feel like also with
looking
the
outside
time.
looking outside of the tour itself was all these
Yeah.
exclusive golf clubs. All these
Oh yeah.
exclusive golf clubs wanted a very, very, very narrow set of parameters of the people that join. And
Well, I also feel like
if
when
you
you
take
think about.
money as a factor out, it was we want you to dress this way. We want you to be this way, and by be this way, I mean it's kind of a family thing. They want they want you and your family to represent the club in a particular aspect.
Yeah.
And then it came down to
Everyone's an ambassador kind of thing.
yeah, and it comes down to like I think they're getting phased out. It'll never stop happening, but some of them are getting phased out with they do the look into everybody's finances like an audit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
Well,
charge a yearly
the
fee
thing,
and like all this stuff.
I feel like the thing too with back in the day with like the certain people that they would film and things of that nature. Oh, sorry, I feel like I'm talking over you, but it's like lagging on my end. I gotta wait for it to catch up because it's lagging. But if you're not, I hope
If
I'm
you can
not
hear
talking
me,
over
I'm
you when I
trying to.
say this.
It
But
says trying to reconnect. If
I
you can
also
hear
feel
me.
like the filming of certain things or certain people was also because, like, you know, uh, film was expensive. They didn't have a ton of people out there. Cameras were expensive, whatever else. So like they only got footage of like the better players because that's what people wanted to see. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I
So
don't
as
know.
long
It
if
just
they fit that mold and they were hitting well, then they wanted to film those people instead because it
it's
put
just
that stamp
the
of what we
feeling
want.
I got when I was growing up. I didn't get into golf until I was
It felt snooty,
almost.
in my opinion.
I think I was 20, 21 when I finally got into it. But
Oh,
like
really?
the
Okay.
and even then, like the PGA was still the same. But like it just felt like they didn't want, unless you paid money to get tickets and watch them. They didn't want anything else. They wanted their broadcast contract, and they wanted their spectators that paid money for tickets and everything. Like they didn't want anything outside of that to exist.
Agreed.
But so when I first got into golf, I was like trying to figure out how they got to where they were and all this stuff. And it's like you look it up and you look at like some of the YouTubers at the time were like just starting out and hitting like trick shots and stuff.
Yeah.
But then you look up all the spectator videos at the time were just people like in the crowd, like kind of hiding their phone and yelling mashed potatoes and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just such a shove kind of feeling. It kind of pushes you away from like having an interest in the PGA, and especially the competitiveness leading up to it. Like you can be a D1 through whatever college leading into it, or you can play these qualifying events leading up into more qualifiers that lead into the Corn Ferry and or Q School and Corn Ferry.
Or do something like Michael Block.
Yeah. I mean, even that, like
Dude, that guy,
that
man,
would have
good
been
for him.
insane. That would have been insane 10 years ago.
But good for him, dude. Like the things that he did too. Like he made it there. He got a hole in one. Fucking hitting that beautiful shot off the uh, cement cart path on the bridge or whatever. Like, dude, like what
Yeah.
a oh man.
Yeah.
He could. If I was him, I'd be like, bro, I could die tomorrow, and I did some shit.
Yeah. Something kind of cool about him. There's was it 3 PGA Tour players that are good sponsored now.
No shit. I
One of
heard that
them
Michael. I heard that
one of them's Michael Block.
Shields just got fucking live too.
Kinda.
Shields is sponsored by Live. I don't know. I don't know if he's playing on the tour or what, but Shields is now
No,
something with
they
Live.
made a contract, and this is what I read.
Okay,
I don't watch his
it's
videos,
Rick,
so
right? Rick Shields.
yeah, Rick Shields.
Yeah,
So he's a golf instructor from the UK that has done YouTube. He's
he's
probably
fun too. He's always super chill.
he's the longest golf YouTuber
I
that
think
there
he's the
is, I
most
think.
subscribed to.
Yeah, I think he has the most subscribers. He's done it for the longest, yada
Yeah,
yada. But anyway, from
he's
what
earned it basically.
yeah, I haven't seen his discussion on it, but from what I read, he has a contract with Live to go play the courses that the Live pros are going to play, and
Oh, okay.
he's gonna try and break 75 on all those courses before they play.
Oh, okay.
So
So
it's
at
like
least he's just making content of like, hey,
yeah,
here's where
so
we're
it's
going to
like
be next weekend or whatever.
what would an amateur do on here?
Yeah.
Because
He's
let's
not an
be real,
amateur,
like
but
let's be real. Like Rick is not a scratch. He's not a plus. He's a low handicapper.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I wouldn't give him more than maybe like 4 or 6 or something. I wouldn't give him more than that.
Yeah, I think he'll shoot
maybe like a 2 or 3.
Just off of everything I've seen, and even recently, like I think he would shoot anywhere from even to 5-6 over.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So anyway, that's not like a live.
Dude, that's fucking.
That's not like a live pro, you know.
No, but that's still great compared to most fucking people.
But anyway, I think that's what his signing with Liv is. He's supposed to go play those courses before the event
makes
happens.
Sense, man. Just have him do what he already does, and just promote his brand and your brand simultaneously because he's already got a ton of followers. Like it's a win-win for everybody.
Yeah, and let's say he was scratch and went out there, and it's like, can a scratch golfer break par? Or like, what's the difficulty rating on these courses that all the live players are playing? Basically, that's what it's supposed to be.
Yeah, no, I mean I like it. I good.
Am I jealous? Yeah,
yeah, yeah. I agree. I would like to be doing what he's doing, but you know what? He put the time in. I mean, at the end of the day, that's really all there is to it.
Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah. So you watched the DOD King, right?
Yeah, dude, driver off deck.
Yeah.
DVA or whatever.
Carter something. Carter.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but it's like
dude, he just did a match with Joaquin Niemann not too long ago.
That sounds.
Joaquin Niemann is he used to be on PGA, now he's live, but he's one of the best golfers in the world.
I'm also thinking probably of like what.
It's Joaquin Waco.
No, I'm thinking of fucking Joaquin Phoenix. That's why fucking.
Oh yeah. No, he's from Chile, and super good golfer.
Waco, yeah, I think I've heard of him. He's got a funny swing, but it fucking nails it every time, right?
I would say he has like one of the smoothest swings.
Oh, maybe that's what it was then. I just remember my buddy shared it to me, something about it, and he's like, "This guy's one of the top dudes," and it said like Waco on it, but I had never heard of him, and it was like a bitch and a half for me to even try to Google him. Like, who is this guy? Like,
yeah, no, he's super good, but it was funny because like at the start of their match, like the DOD King card or whatever was like threw his ball on the thing and showed him like what he was doing. He's like, "You're not using tees today, right?" And he was like, "No, I don't think I will."
T-Weasel.
No, but he's like, "You're not using tees today, right?" And he's like, "No, I don't think I will."
Nice. Yeah, no, that's great.
Sorry, and dude, he gets up there and dude, every driver off the deck, every iron off the deck, every wood off the deck is just smoked down the middle. It's like, you could see the reactions from the from DOD King. He's like, "Fuck."
He's like, "Motherfucker." What? Sorry, I was petting my cat and then he got all feisty.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
Yeah, he was like, because he was like squatting low, so I was giving him scritches and scratches on his low bits as he was getting. It was like doing an army crawl, and then he was like, "No, fuck off." Whatever. Anyway, yeah. So I wish I could do the shit that DOD does. Like, I've hit driver off the deck. Sometimes it's worked out. Today I had some. I mean, today and yesterday I had some fucking bombs. The problem is sometimes, you bomb it and then you get out there and there's some nonsense that you didn't expect to be there that you bounce into or whatever.
So yeah, I think for you, it's a tempo thing. Like when you're at the slowest and smoothest of your day, it's bomb down the middle.
Dude, I think it is 100%.
Obviously, everybody does it. Like they get fast, and that's when like you find yourself in the most trouble
because you think that's gonna do better for you, but it's like no, it's like just do what you're supposed to do physically, and let the equipment do the work on contact. You know what I mean?
Like, so if that's your swing thought going into every tee box, you think slow tempo town, like
that's exactly what I realized. And you know that I have my like super fucking shallow backswing. So my problem is, especially with like driver and woods, because I'm like, oh, I need this to go far. Like that's obviously my thought with those. It's hard because I have such a shallow backswing. It's hard for me to like keep it slow with those because it's weird, and I don't know if it's because of like the length of the shaft or what it is, but like it just feels different than irons. Where like trying to go slow, I feel like I don't have that much range to go slow with, and when I try and go slow, sometimes I go too far. But when I get it just right, and I'm still like staying within the limits of my backswing, and I'm going slow, and I'm like 1, 2, wham, that bitch is fucking sailing.
Yeah, first of all, if we could all have the tempo that we need, we'd probably all be Jake Knapp. I mean, that's all there is to it.
Effortless.
If we could do what we wanted to do, it'd be professionals. But like, as far as tempo goes, I can't even explain how this dude hits a 9-iron like 170 yards, and it looks like he's just
doing
sweeping
nothing.
grass.
Well, dude, that's like Fred Couples and Ernie Els and shit when they were like in their prime and stuff. It's like, especially Ernie. Ernie's like the Big Easy. It's like, dude, what? You didn't do anything. Like,
Fred's still doing it too.
I know, but it's like, dude, all you did was turn around with a club in your hand. What the fuck just happened? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's wild.
It's the whole, you fire your lower body, your club's way back, lag, all that stuff, and it's just
and that's why I have to keep my
smooth.
That's why I have to keep my shallow backswing, because if I go back too far, I start spraying everywhere. So if I just keep my shallow backswing and start with my hips, kind of like I don't even think I go back as far as John Rahm, but if I can get my hips into it, it's like it's the best way to keep me in the slot, and then I'm more likely to hit it on the line I'm looking at.
Yeah, it's just, it takes so much trust. Like it's a lot of trust and repetition. Something that I think it was actually Elliot that we had guest on before told me that it takes somewhere around 4,000 repetitions to get something like fully in effect or like embedded, right?
Well, they say 10,000 is a master, right?
Yeah, so they were saying something around like 4,000 repetitions scientifically to make a swing change, because this has been studied
as far as like muscle memory.
Yeah, so like a swing change is like, instead of coming over the top of the ball, I want to come shallow into it, inside out, like kind of like you do.
Right.
It's like if I naturally was over the top the entire time, they're saying you can go to the range with 4,000 repetitions, or you can go on the course and never implement that.
Right.
So that's something to think about. So when I was talking about
it's true. Well,
trust,
and then the problem
trust is insane.
Well, and the problem too is like, okay, you can do all of those things, and then you can start doing that, and it works. But then you realize something else you need to change. You start changing that thing, and then the last thing that you changed and had doing right starts falling apart. Or like, you know what I mean? Like that's been my experience at times, because you always, and this is the thing that they teach, like preach in jiu-jitsu, as far as like, keep coming to class, keep drilling, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Because like whenever you're stressed out or you're in a moment of performance or whatever, which is every golf shot, right? You're stepping up and it's your one chance to do what you need to do. You always fall back to like, I don't know how to put it other than like, you always fall back to your baseline skill level. So like, unless you've been training harder or making a point,
it's your roots
to get better,
right?
You always fall back to your baseline, and like your baseline can be fucking expert level if you put the time and effort in. Right. But 9 times out of 10, people are just going out there doing their thing, and like at best they're getting mediocre,
Yeah, it makes sense. So that's your roots, right?
Yeah.
So when you have any kind of conflict, you resort to your roots because you're like, well, I'm trying this different thing and I don't know if it's working or I don't know if it feels like it's working. So you resort to your roots and you go back to them because that's comfortable for you. That's home.
Yeah,
Same thing in the golf swing. If
your body goes
I,
back to what it knows.
like when I first started, I have a baseball background. So when I picked up the club, I tried to lead with my hips, but I came over the top because I was a puller of the ball. I hit it down third base line or I hit it over left field.
Shortstop kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for me, it was like naturally I picked up the club and I tried to pull the shit out of it.
So were you just fucking drawing everything? Like crazy hooks and shit?
Yeah, yeah. So it like, it started out with I either pulled the crap out of it or it was a slice back.
Oh, okay.
But it's like that's my roots. That's my roots of when I picked up
that's
a
like
club,
that's your
right?
muscle memory. That's what you grew
So
up
now
learning.
what, what studies are saying is that you need 4,000 repetitions to change that. And on top of that, you're under, especially competitive, but let's just say a regular round, like you've got, a hazard on the right or a hazard on the left, vice versa, depending on your right-handed or left-handed, or your shot shape is fade, cut, draw, whatever. You have that in your mind, so you have the repetitions that actually changes the swing, and then you have the mentality aspect.
Yep.
Like you might do something that feels ultra safe in that situation. Let's say you don't want the ball to go right. You want to essentially miss it to the left. So you aim to the left, but your swing produces something that just spins and puts it to the right.
Yeah.
So you
hit it with open face or some shit or whatever. Yeah.
So you're like, I've aimed to the left, but your mind hasn't trusted the fact that you're going to hit it left.
That's true.
It's
that is
the
something
insane
that
part of golf.
So that is something that I've tried to get better about, and I learned it from like a random fucking Facebook reel or whatever, or some guy's TED talk. But basically, and I think I've told you this before, so this is probably more for the listeners because I think you've heard this. But basically, what he was saying is like the human mind is incapable of not thinking about something.
Oh yeah.
So
yeah.
if I tell you don't think about an elephant, what the fuck did you just think about, right? Exactly. So, what he said is like with
A hippo,
professionals, huh?
A hippo.
Yeah, exactly. No, he said think about a hippo. No, but he said basically like if you he used professional skiers as an example because there's professional skiers and trick skiers and whatnot that'll go through all the trees and shit, and even just average people will do that. But he said the ones that are best at it that don't tend to crash, they don't think as they're going through, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree, don't hit a tree. Because mentally speaking, the more you think about a tree, the more you're likely to be drawn to it, like subconsciously, whatever. So instead, their whole thought process is stay on the path, stay on the path, stay on the path. And they just try and look at the path and stay on that shit as they're going through the fucking trees and whatnot. So I've been trying to adopt that mentality more often when going up to hit my golf shot, like getting my body right and feeling like I'm physically in the position I want to be in to start my swing, and then trying to think like, land in the fairway, or like get on the green, like whatever the thing might be, or like get over that hill, get over that bunker, whatever. Just trying to have those more positive swing thoughts, and it might be a little superstitious or superficial to some extent, but I mean, hey, if you're trying to be out there having a fun time, you might as well think positively about your golf shot, regardless, because whether it turns out good or bad, you're better off thinking better about it instead of planning to do bad, doing bad, and just feeling shittier about it.
Yeah, 100%. Like with the skiing thing and with the mentality thing, it's like the same goes for golf. You step up to the tee box and you're like, do not slice this into the trees, or don't miss right, or don't pull this ball left.
Do it.
Yeah, don't pull this ball left in the hazard. If you go up to the tee box and you're thinking that, you have a high percentage that you're going to do it. Or if you like some of the golfers try to visualize their shot rather than think about, obviously they've got the yardage book, they've gone over where do I want to go, where's the miss,
Right.
what is going to get me in trouble. That's all done. And then they get over they tee the ball up, they get over it, and they're like, what do I want this ball to do?
Right.
Because the hardest shot in golf is dead straight. Right? And now you might see a lot of dead straight tracers on the TV when you're watching the PGA, but none of those are entirely intentional. There might be a few of them that are like, I want to hit this dead straight.
Yeah, I mean, most guys know that they play a draw or a fade or whatever. Yeah,
most of them are doing one or the other or both.
Mm-hmm.
Like obviously probably not on tour unless you can work it both ways.
I feel like that. I feel like the whole like hitting it straight is almost like when the average golfer accidentally flushes it and gets more distance than they needed.
Right? Yeah, yeah. But anyway, like I think Jason Day is a good example of this because so he goes over the yardage book with his caddy and they talk about, where does he want to be, where can he miss, where does he not want to be, and then they pick a spot, and then he goes behind the ball, he looks at it, he's probably already decided his shape. He's like, I'm going to bend a cut because the hazard's on the left, I'm going to bend it off of there and it's going to cut back, to here where we intended to go, or draw vice versa.
Or roll towards the
hole. But he goes
whatever,
behind the ball and he closes his eyes and he envisions the shot that he's going to hit.
Huh.
And then he opens his eyes, he steps up to it and then hits it.
I mean, that's the kind of thing where like that's a guy I would love to talk to, just like that.
Yeah, that dude has an incredible short game too. Jason Day's short game is insane.
I think I've shared videos to you. There's that guy that I follow on fucking Instagram, like Landon Ashworth, I think is his name.
Oh, if he had a good Aussie die.
Oh, I hope. I mean, I don't think. Wait, who?
Jason Dye.
Oh, he's Australian.
Yeah. So is Adam Scott.
Little Adam Scott.
Fucking Adam Scott.
No,
belly putter.
But dude, my buddy's been using a belly putter. He was using it today, but I tied him. I use reverse arm lock too. I'm a rat.
What was that bullshit?
Says rat on it. Dude, my putter head says rat on it. It says reverse arm lock technology. It's a greens rat.
Oh hell yeah, that's pretty cool.
But I love it, dude. It works so well for me as far as like putting goes. Like I've Texas wedged with that bitch and it's worked out so well. Like my bad putts off the green and weird stuff sometimes are better than my best wedge.
Yeah, so. Now mind you, like there's still mostly Bermuda out here, but it's like concrete compared to felt back back in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember dude, there was a course. This was probably a couple months ago, but there was this course that I played for the first time. And normally, I warm up. Putting is like a pretty good aspect of my game.
And you usually use Kirkland's for your warm up too, right? Because they perform about as well as the.
No.
Oh, you don't use.
I use the Titleist left dash.
No. I know you use that. I know you use that to play, but I thought you were saying that sometimes you'd use the Kirkland's just to practice, so you're not scuffing up your balls.
I've done that in the past with chipping. I've done that in the past with chipping because I get a similar spin, kind of spin rate.
Sorry, that's what I was talking about when you had told me that before. Yeah.
Yeah, I've done that in the past. As far as scuffs goes and whatever, like it's not even worth really.
Well, you also don't lose a lot. You lose a lot of balls and shit too. Like I'm losing balls all the time.
I don't even know why I did it, but it's not really worth putting into effect because it was like I'm practicing chipping. I'm getting a similar spin rate with Kirkland's, but off the tee and with irons is much different than the ball that I use.
You won't get as much distance.
Sure. So now I don't do it anymore because
fair enough.
What's the point of getting those when it's just for chipping practice, really?
Yeah.
But anyway, a course that I played a couple months ago. It's called Franklin's Canyon here. It's more toward the bay, and it's right in a valley, kind of like on the side of one of the big hills over here.
Okay.
And I've never been more fucked up by greens than that place in a long time. I'm not.
I don't know why that got me. I'm expecting like
I'm not
undulating
even kidding
courses and
you.
shit.
I'm not even kidding you. I
Like
got
how so?
demolished by these greens.
Like just the pin placement was ass, or because I dealt with that on
Yeah,
Friday, dude. I dealt with that on Friday, and I dealt with that on a couple holes today. But Friday especially, I was like, when the fuck did we sign up for Greenkeepers Revenge Week? Like, what the fuck's going on here?
it was okay. So first off, this was probably around 50 to 51, 52 degrees and windy.
Temperature? Oh shit, yeah.
So
So the ball's not gonna go as far already.
there were different like areas of the course depending on like where you were in the valley that had a bunch of wind like ripping through the valley and
Yeah,
and
and
some
you're gonna lose
being
distance
shielded.
anyway because it's cold.
Yeah, so there was a couple times like so wind factor was a big one because you could feel the wind direction and you thought, this is helping hurting this much. But when you
But
got
once
it
it gets
up,
out there, what's happening?
when you got it up in the air, it was significantly more.
It's like
Like,
anybody's guess what's gonna go down.
yeah, I normally,
Imagine your ball goes up and just starts like spinning in one spot. You're like, what the fuck? And then
it's just
eventually
normally
comes
like,
back.
I look at like a weather app and it would be like 7, 8 miles an hour. But we're talking like, let's
What?
say it was 7, 8 miles an hour that day. If you
Oh,
got your,
7, 8. I thought you said 70, bro. I was like, what the
no,
fuck?
I'm sorry,
I
7
was
or
like, what are
8.
you doing?
I'm just saying like a normal around here is about 7, 8
Oh,
miles an
yeah,
hour.
yeah.
If you got your ball to apex, above 120, 150 feet, like it got demolished. Like it was so much more because I don't know the whole valley thing with the winds coming through.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was one. On top of that, when I was reading greens, I got fucked up in that aspect too because we're in a valley. The course is built into the side of it on the side of a hill. So
You took everything.
I was plumb bobbing. I was going down and I was feeling it with my feet. Needless to say, things that were felt right to left and left to right or downhill and uphill, sometimes it just was the complete opposite. There was one that I even now after after having played the course because also Ray, my buddy that was playing with us, his putt was uphill. And so I had borderline similar putt. I putted it uphill pace and it just ran off the green, ran over the fringe, ran down the hill.
What in the fuck?
Yeah, that's how bad I got messed up by these greens. So without going into 3 and 4, like you get the gist, right?
Yeah, dude,
I got jacked up by these greens.
that's crazy for you too, because I've seen you play, so like that's fucking wild.
Yeah, I mean it happened.
No, I mean
it happened. Right to left was left to right, and left to right was right to left, and uphill was downhill, and downhill was uphill.
I mean, kudos to you for like talking about it and owning it. I'm just saying, like, yeah, it must have been a bitch because like I've seen you play, and that's not common.
So just to give like a baseline, I might have 1 3-putt or 2 on a bad day, 3 putts per game. I think I had 5 on that one.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I'm used to you being like, what are you, like a 6 handicap or something, or 8 or something, or?
Yeah, it's been kind of varying. I think 6 is fair because I've been playing 4, but I think 6 is pretty fair.
Yeah, I knew you were like low because I'm like a 20 something probably still, like especially when I go out and just like start fucking around. But I just my thing is, for me it's more therapy than it is something I'm trying to get better at. Like, of course I want to get better. And I feel like at times I feel like I am getting better. It's just a matter of consistency. But really it's just to get out and socialize and hang out with friends, maybe meet new people, and just kind of zone out and not think about other shit for a little while.
Yeah, I mean, you can't complain about that.
No. I like that's what I'm saying. Like, I might not be good at golf, but I try to at least be a good time, and nine and a half times out of 10, I'm having a good time. Because even when it's a bad time, it's only like it's only temporary, especially if I've got good company.
True.
That's what.
I mean, you got to love it for that aspect, at least, right?
Absolutely, man. Like, if people are, that's one thing that kind of bothers me sometimes on the course is when, like, when there's like a twosome or a threesome ahead of you and you're playing by yourself or whatever, and you're getting close to them, and they don't offer to play. It's like, dude, like, we're all adults here. Like, why not make a new friend? You know what I mean? Like, I get it. Sometimes I just want to be by myself out there, and someone's getting close to me, and I'm like, fuck. Well, but it's like, well, either let them play through, or join up with them and just be like, hey, man, like, I'm playing how I'm playing. Like, you can keep my pace, or just like don't let me hold you up. Do what you got to do, but you're welcome to hit off with me at least.
I hate it because I really don't want to, like. Obviously, I'm not attacking anybody specifically, but I hate that that group that goes out there, and I don't know if it's a sense of entitlement or just a kind of a false mindset that they think they're faster or whatever. But you could be like a twosome behind a foursome, let's say. Naturally, or expectedly, the twosome is faster than the foursome. But like
even a threesome,
you get these foursomes that are in the mindset that, like, no, there's no way, there's no way that we can let anybody go or whatever.
I mean, I've definitely been in instances where where, like, we're not necessarily like we're not going any fast. Like, it might seem like we're going slow because you're catching up to us at the tee box, but by the time we finish the hole, we're catching up to the next guys at the tee box because that's just like the pace of play.
Oh, yeah. Actually, can you pull up
there's been instances like that, and also the sun's going down, so I'm like, fuck that. I'm not letting people play through. I want to get as much golf in as I can before I leave. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And, like, you can call me a dick for that, but that's just like,
no.
I paid to get as much as I can in. You know what I mean? And, like, it might look like you could pass us, but you're just gonna get stopped by the people up in front of us.
No.
If 5 minutes later,
if you have groups in front of you that are held up, like, then yes, that
because there's times where you, like, lag behind, and it seems like you're playing slow, but then you catch up to the next people anyway because it's slow ahead of them. You know what I mean?
I've had a couple experiences where it's like, we've been held up the entire day. Let's say we're 8, 9 holes in, 11, 12 holes in. The marshal shows up on your slowest hole every time. And it's like the group in front of you. We've been waiting on them for 3 hours. But you show up.
I got out of my groove because I was waiting on them, and then I went to go hit my shot, and I fucking duffed it, and that's what you got to see.
But it's like, we've been waiting on them for 3 hours, and you show up when 2 of my buddies hits an OB.
Right, exactly.
This is crazy. Dude, you should pull up the what the actual average pace of play is on golf.
All right, let's see. Because that's interesting. Because I've heard,
because there's some courses that are like, this is what is expected out of you. Even like some of the digital carts, like, pull up the screen, it's like this, you're this many minutes behind or ahead of pace.
I would think about 4:15 is like the average round, but I've heard that in Scotland,
I think it's more than that.
Faster than
I think
that.
it's more than that. Well, I don't think they think much.
It might be 4.5 hours, but like average.
I'll be right back though.
You're saying average golf round? Yeah, let's see. How long does it take to play 18 holes in golf? According to Curated.com, published on 8/21/2023 by golf expert Michael Pryor, the average round of golf varies depending on the day of the week, and it could also be impacted by the time of day. When you tee off, how many players are on the course? Oh, and how many players are on the course? Sorry. According to a study commissioned by the United States Golf Association, also known as USGA, golf rounds average 4 hours on weekdays and average 4 hours and 30 minutes on weekends. That's about what I thought. The length of a round of golf in terms of the amount of time, can also be impacted by the time of day. If you are one of the first groups out on the course, you are likely to be able to play a round of golf in 4 hours or
What's the
less.
average?
However, as more and more groups get onto the course, the average time to play a round will take longer. And on a busy weekend, day could take times that exceed 5 hours.
Oh gosh. Yeah.
No, it says that the golf rounds average 4 hours on weekdays and 4 hours and 30 minutes on weekends.
Okay.
That's about what I thought.
Yeah. And I've played places that are like, you need to be walking off the screen at 2:15 hours or whatever, like in the ninth hole or whatever.
Dude, I've seen that. They'll have like a clock by it and they're like, make sure you keep pace play. And I'm like, wow.
Or the what is it?
Or the GPS will just tell you, like,
The
you're 5
GPS is
minutes
like,
behind pace.
yeah.
I love when it tells us. I love when it tells me that, and I'm like, oh, okay. And we speed up, and then it still tells us that as we're like waiting for the next
I
people to
think
tee off. I'm like, okay.
I think those are crazy because the pace that they normally put on those cards is not like a weekend pace.
No, and I mean, I get it. You know, I suppose too, if you think about it, like whether or not it's the right amount of time. If they tell you that you're running a little late and you've got a sense of urgency, you're likely to like keep the average time more so than not, I guess, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Especially because, like, I don't know, people like me or like even around today, it's like, dude, I lost a bunch of balls. And like a big thing that I've been trying to be more conscientious of is, the unfortunate fact for us, nobody amateurs is, we don't have fucking spectators and cameramen watching our shots. So sometimes it'll go out and you got to guess, and you might get lucky that there was a lucky kickoff, something that you still end up finding it. But a lot of times it's like, well, we just need to agree where it went out. And I should probably just like take my 200-yard distance before it went out into the woods as opposed to trying to like hit another one off the tee and possibly just doing the same
Yeah,
damn
dude,
thing.
I hate that about courses that have the first tee next to the practice.
Oh, dude, when it gets lost with the range balls, you're like, fuck.
Not necessarily that. I would hope not, but like
Well, range
courses that.
balls can be, but the range balls are that people are mishitting onto your hole. You know what I'm
Oh
saying? That's what
no,
I'm thinking.
yeah, no, yeah, that too. But mostly for the fact that courses that have the first tee next to the practice greens is that you have like a whole audience every time you tee off.
Oh, you mean that? Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so in my head, that I get into whenever I go to tee off, I'm like, I got to make the swing look good. It's not like I try and I used to be like, oh, I've got to like overpower and send it or whatever, you know, for the spectators or whatever. But now it's like,
It's always a subconscious thing too. Like you don't want to
yeah,
look like
it's
a
like I
bitch in front
gotta.
of everybody
Now
else.
it's like I gotta make my swing look good. I gotta make it look
Yeah,
smooth.
you're like, whether you think of it like, whether you say it out loud or not, you're like, I can't look like a bitch in front of these people.
Yeah, so like the trap that you get into with that is that a lot of people will hit wedges, irons, drivers, or however your warm up routine is on the range.
Yeah,
But now you're on the first tee and you're doing something that you didn't do for the last 30 minutes.
probably, yeah.
That's the trap right there. Is it's like
Well, it's the same thing that happens when like the people behind you come up and they're like waiting at the tee and you're waiting for the people in the fairway to move, and then like you got to hit and the people waiting to hit behind you are sitting there watching. You're like, like extra people instead of just my homies that are going to talk shit regardless, but I don't give a fuck what they say. You know what I mean? Like
my favorite story with one of those, and this was in Arkansas. This was in Hot Springs, one of the Hot Springs Village courses. Super nice place.
Okay, nice.
The practice putting green was literally right next to the first tee box. So you're standing on the first tee box, and if you stood over your ball and looked in front of you, the practice green's right next to you. And one of my buddies,
So you're like you're aiming this way, and the practice greens this way.
yeah, it's right in front. Like if you looked up
Yeah,
over your ball, it's right next to you.
yeah.
And I mean, 15 feet. It's literally attached to it. There's like stairs from the practice green to the tee
Bro,
box.
I'd be worried that I'd slice it on some motherfucker.
So one of my buddies that I guess I won't call out.
You don't have to name any names.
But
It's just a
anyway,
friend of yours.
he said that he was nervous going into it because we're doing the practice screen. He's like, man, I don't like where that is. It's like I kind of feel nervous. Like for one, if you slice it, there's driving range,
Right.
and then also you have 7-8 guys on the putting green watching you tee off. And
That'd be my worry, dude.
no shit, he flopped his driver
Onto the green? Onto the practice green?
Onto the putting green that was next to him. I can't even begin to explain how you do that, because if you tried to do that 10 times, you probably wouldn't.
Bro, that's the epitome of you thought about what not to do and did exactly that.
Yeah. So I don't know if he grounded the club a little bit on the way, like
oh wow,
like a little bit of a chunk.
Nobody
or whatever,
got hurt, right?
But anyway, yeah, he flopped it. It went probably 40, 50 feet in the air, straight to the right, landed on the practice green, rolled down like a putt. This guy stopped his putt to look up at him and be like, he like looked at his ball and looked at him.
And how?
He went over, grabbed it, and he was like, sorry, man. And then striped it. It was the whole thought going into the tee box, but he grabbed it, put it back on the tee, and striped it.
Oh my god, dude! Golfer B is a scratch golfer, I swear.
Yeah, this is a evil tee box, by the way, because it's, like I said, right next to the putting green. If you hit it a little bit right, it's in the driving range. You probably only have, the fairway's probably 12 to 15 yards wide. And then to the right of the fairway, it's only 12, 15 yards to go into the driving range. And then on the left side, perfect driving distance was a bunker on the left side.
Dude, we had a
like, if you aimed at that bunker and landed in it, you'd probably be like, all right, I'll take it. But it's kind of evil, right?
Yeah. We had a no, for sure. I mean, like, you're just damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, basically.
We had a hole that was not far from the driving range, so it was one of those holes that, like, you probably weren't getting onto the hole that we were on, but once you got to the green, it was up here, and all the way down at the bottom of this hill was a tee box for another a different hole. And from there, if you were hitting at the practice range and you missed right, there was a potential of like hitting close to that fairway and like running all the way down towards that tee box because of the way that fairway was sloped. So at one point, I'm just saying this to bust balls, and if my buddy watches this, like, I won't fucking call him out, but he knows who he is. Anyway, at one point, he's hitting yellow balls, him and another buddy of mine, and he goes down there, and I'm watching him look around, and he's like looking and looking, and he's looking in the woods and blah blah blah, and then he's finally like, and this whole time I'm seeing like this fucking yellow range ball that's down there, and then he walks over here and he's like, oh, I found my ball, and he fucking picks it up and puts it in his pocket, and then puts his ball down, which looks like hella green in comparison, like the highlighter yellow, because he's hitting those like yellow Kirklands, and I'm like, so you lost your ball? That's a drop? I was like, that wasn't your ball, and he looked up at me and he was like, yeah, no, it wasn't. And I'm like, yeah, exactly.
At least he didn't argue with you. Like,
no, yeah, exactly.
There's so many people that have been like, yeah, it was.
No, I busted his
Look at my ball. I dropped it.
I was like, I'm fine with you dropping there, but I know that wasn't your ball, dude. Your ball's way too fucking bright.
Yeah, the one I picked up was a mud ball. I had to drop a different one.
Yeah, and I was like, no. That shit was funny though. There's a lot of
reminds me of those little that little ankle device you can get, I guess. It's like you can like click your heels and it drops a ball.
Oh, the ticker, yeah.
Oh yeah, I found my ball.
No, there was some interesting shots today, but It was fun, man. You know, at the end of the day, the weather ended up being beautiful. It's been cold here lately, but it got up into probably like the high 60s, low 70s at some point. So we were out there chilling.
That's nice.
Afterwards,
We got
I
5 days of rain that started yesterday.
oh yeah, you were telling me that every time you go between your man cave and the house, you're just getting big old globs dripping on you.
Yeah, like the roof water just like drips straight down your neck as soon as you open the door.
Fucking sucks, dude, because it's like it pools and then
Yeah.
you just like you vibrate it out. You're like opening the door and it's like ooh ha.
Yeah, well, he was talking about the like where you want to be in golf and the whole balls, lose
No,
them,
my
win
problem
them
is
or
just like
whatever.
my body's always feeling like shit, and so like I feel like almost every time I go up to swing, I'm almost subconsciously compensating for shit that I don't even realize that's different almost every time. But the biggest thing is like with all my aches and pains and the problems that I have, like if I'm gonna hurt myself or have something blow out on me or whatever the fuck you want to call it or whatever happens, like I'd rather have that happen playing an actual round with my friends, enjoying myself than just like at the range working myself tired trying to perfect something. You know what I mean?
True.
And I know that's not gonna get me better at golf, but until I figure out these things and start feeling more comfortable on average on a daily basis, I don't think it's really gonna change.
No, I got you completely because I see, at least I like to believe, but I also see the flip side because I try to go out and practice.
Dude, I wish I could. I just
I'll
don't want
hit,
to work myself out.
sometimes it's 200 balls. If that's the day and the time that I have, I'll try and hit, anywhere from 1 to 200 balls.
Yeah, why not?
And I don't know, like I said, like, we have a different skill gap, but at the same time, like I'm not moving from where I am. It's
You feel like you've plateaued, kind of?
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
Like I think the only thing I can do is play every day, which is not possible for me, but
Well, that's probably one of those things where, you know what you need to do, you're just not able to practice it enough to get it to happen as quickly as you'd like, but if you keep it up, in the next however much time you'll be.
Yeah, completely. The only reason that I am where I am is putting and chipping.
Well, what do they say? Short game for dough, driver for show, right?
Yeah, I have a feel for it. Sometimes it takes a little bit of warm up. Sometimes it takes a couple holes, but I genuinely can get a feel for the green and what I need to do with putting and chipping. So that's the only thing that keeps me where I am because it's not.
Dude.
It's not hitting green. Well, it might be hitting fairways, but it's not hitting greens. That's for sure. Like sometimes I'll miss a green, bunker, fringe, whatever.
I feel like you've always been really good out of the sand, though, from what I've seen for the most part. Like I struggle with bunker shots.
I think it's mentality. I
don't practice them enough.
A little bit of mentality there. Like
I suck at the splash thing.
I trust my wedges. I trust my wedges.
Yeah.
And I don't try to decelerate. Like that's probably one of the biggest things you can do out of the bunker is decelerate because you're like scared of it going long or clipping the ball too clean and it goes too far or thinning it and hitting the lip of the bunker. Like you gotta.
Yeah, for me it's I always try to clean it. I suck at splash. I always try to clean it and then I'm either like cleaning it and I'm getting it up where I need or I'm thinning it.
Here's the variable in bunkers is the amount of sand, the firmness, moisture, a couple of those variables, right? If you go into a practice bunker, like you're not doing a ton of practice. Let's say you're doing a warm up or you just go to your range and hit 10, 20 bunker shots.
Yeah, sure.
You have a baseline that you can kind of trust.
Fair, yeah.
So, like we were talking about earlier, it's the whole mental aspect of the game where you're talking about don't thin it into the lip of the bunker or trust it, don't decelerate, trust it, and just.
I mean, that's what I do every time. It's just a gamble of what's going to happen. what's gonna
Yeah,
happen.
yeah.
Dude, I have the problem
You
of
don't
like I can
you don't
start a
have to
swing and
be
feel that it. No, sorry, go ahead.
super. You don't have to be super pinpointed on where you wanted to land it on the green. If you
No,
can
but
get out of a bunker and on the green, I mean,
agreed. No, hey,
that's
at least
that's light years away from a lot of amateur golfers. A lot of amateur golfers thin it over the green, or they stay in the bunker that they just hit out of.
dude,
That's light years above.
I'll sometimes like slices out of it and go what, dude. My bottom line, regardless of where the ball ends up, as long as it's not another bunker, if I get out of the bunker in one swing, I'm happy enough because
Yeah,
I won't because I should at least be able to control whatever comes next to not go into a bunker again. You know what I mean?
yeah.
um, but yeah, but it's I don't know. It's
It's
just tough
it's
for
a
me.
lot
But
of
you're
trust.
totally right.
It's a lot of
The
trust.
problem that I have too, though, is like I can feel. Um, there's so many times when I can feel that a swing is bad as I'm doing it, but I just don't have the ability to stop.
Yeah.
It's like once I'm committed, I'm fucking committed, and it's like, oh my god, this is not good, and then I'm done, and I'm like,
And you know what? I think the reason that carried forward to me was that the first lesson I ever had in golf was out of a bunker. There's a very, very old, PGA certified instructor guy.
old school.
It was actually
Starts you
when
in
I
the
was
at the
overseas.
he starts you in the most dog shit of positions, just like the
Yeah.
like the
He's
motherfucker who
like,
teaches you
you're gonna
manual and
be
puts
here, so let's learn this shit
like the
first.
motherfucker who teaches you manual and is like, okay, we're learning on a hill like this, and you're like, fuck.
But yeah, so this was when I was overseas. It was one of those deals where it was like a single airman get, this discounted rate, and there's
Oh, nice. Yeah,
a
yeah.
couple
That's
of
what I did for scuba.
yeah, a couple of Saturdays with a PGA
Yeah.
certified guy.
Oh, yeah. Was it? I wonder if it was Hope, even though you were still in.
No, no, this was sponsored by the golf course that
Was this
was
at
on
Aviano?
Aviana. Yeah,
Oh, nice. Okay. Yeah.
yeah.
Dude,
So anyway,
that was the
it was
problem
like
when
a
I got to
couple of
Aviano too.
Saturdays. It was a couple of
I don't think
Saturdays.
the
There
course
was
wasn't as well operating when I got there too.
Oh yeah, I
Like
mean I believe
it
that.
was still running, but like it wasn't doing as well by the time I got there. I remember, or at least like a year or so in.
Yeah, I believe that. But
Yeah.
it was like
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I wasn't into golf. And even after these lessons, I wasn't into golf. It took like another year, 1 or 2 years before I actually got into golf. But anyway, like it was super cheap, and it came with a free bag. It came with a free bag of clubs.
I remember this.
Yeah, and
I do
they were
remember that
like,
program.
I don't even know what they were because I've never seen that brand ever since the fact that I had them.
Not even Tour Edge or anything.
But it was some DoD like contracted thing. They sent okay.
It's DoD
Regardless,
Kirkland gloves.
they were so no name that I'll never even find. You know what I mean? I'll never find them again. But anyway, the
Did you
first
sell them?
lesson, no, I didn't. The first
You still
lesson,
have them?
no, I don't.
Oh damn! What happened to them?
I think they're at my house in
Your
Illinois.
pops?
Yeah.
Nice.
So anyway, the first lesson that he gave me was out of a bunker, and he was like,
Put you in the shit right away.
yeah, he was like, look,
You're gonna be here a lot. Let's see how you do.
he just said, look, let me see the basic mechanics of your swing. And so I did, whippy and trying to hit as hard, hard as hell. He's like, all right, slow it down and make the sand move the ball out of the bunker. I said, what do you mean? He said, you don't have to hit the ball. You need the impact of the sand to explode the ball out of the bunker.
You're trying to hit it fat, essentially.
Yeah. I was like, okay. He's like, grab my hands. He was like, open up the club face, smack it so it explodes. And he made me do a couple practice swings, and he's like, shut your club face. Did a couple, and it's like, digs in and gets sunk into the mud or into the sand. And then the other two opened it up, and it like, smacked it and exploded the sand. He's like, I want to see the sand do this. And then sure as shit, after a couple of those, like I went up to the ball, I hit 5, I think 5 of them, and one of them went in.
Nice.
Like, all right, I like we were just talking about earlier. I think that's like the confidence maybe that I got.
Yeah, maybe. Could be. Yeah.
I mean, I wish our first lesson would have been like in the fairway, like 200 yards away. I don't know.
No, that's probably a good way to start though. Like start. I mean, it's also a short game, like you're starting with the hardest part. That's the biggest payoff.
Yeah, we did a little bit, chipping from there, and it just made a lot of things easier because, especially like going on
how much
from
time
there.
Did you
like,
have with them?
I think they were about 1 to an hour and a half on
for
2 Saturdays,
like weeks or whatever.
2 Saturdays.
Yeah, so I mean, as far as like trying to make the most out of it, like
yeah,
it was pretty
it was
good,
like the first day was like bunker, then we did a little bit chipping, then we did putting, and like he tried to teach us like, and I never took this on because the first lesson that I had after that, after I really got into golf, they were like, your grip's fucked, because it wasn't a baseball grip, but it was like I had,
were you like too needy with it?
They weren't like lined up. They were like, my hands were like just kind of awkward.
Gotcha.
And but anyway, so it went like from bunker to chipping to putting, and then the next day we went over like a couple of full swing mechanics, and then he took us out onto one hole, and he was like, all right, let's play this hole. It was like a par 3 or something. Which, by the way, I hit into the bunker.
Nice.
I remember that.
Right where he taught you to get out.
Yeah, he took us to this par 3, and I smacked it straight into a bunker.
Nice. Sorry, I'm petting my cat because he's being frisky over here. This is my boy, Rafiki. He's kind of freaky.
Oh boy. He said, "Why?"
He doesn't like it. All right, Bubba. He's like, "Why'd you fucking do that to me?" All right, dude. Well, we're hitting about an hour and a half, so I mean, might as well cut it. But what's interesting is I did get a comment from a buddy of mine while gaming with him recently. He said he loves the podcast, but we should try to stick on one topic more often. And we didn't even intentionally mean to do so, but we basically did this time. It was just all golf stuff.
Yeah, we normally will kind of figure out what we want to talk about. We did not do that this time. No,
but I mean, at the same time,
So let us know down in the comments, like, I mean, we can structure, we can not structure. It'll work for us either way, but as far as what you guys want to listen to, please let us know.
Yeah, of course. It's easier for us to chat about basically whatever. But if there are things that
me and you can talk for hours.
Absolutely, man. I'll go. You can get me going on tangents for fucking days, dude. But but yeah, of course we want to talk about whatever's fun and interesting, but we want it to be fun and interesting for the viewers too. So if they have suggestions, as always, throw that shit in the comments. Also, if you've got suggestions of ideas for guests and you've got connections to get said people on here, of course, by all means, reach out to us. Or if you yourself feel as though you've got some interesting tales to tell or just want to shoot the shit, I don't see why there's no reason, at least now, we're not popular enough to be rejecting people. So if people want to come on and talk, or like we've said before, if you want to share your story and have us just share it on your behalf anonymously or with whatever names you see fit, more than happy to.
That'd be so cool, man. I would love to, share a story.
Absolutely. Well, we've always got the option of trying to find interesting stories that people have shared on Reddit threads and things like that, and just reading it, and we don't have to.
Yeah, we might do that one day
to anyone or whatever, but we can always read that kind of stuff if it's that interesting. Obviously, to the both of us, and maybe we'll even get to practice some of our different accents and whatnot, playing different characters and whatever said story there is. In fact, a friend of mine, he loves the Asian accent, which I was using quite a bit today out on the golf course. Pretty funny.
Nice. Oh yeah.
Sounding Vietnamese.
Yeah.
It's a good time.
Oh yeah.
Anyway, All right. Well, unless you've got anything else to add, man, I mean, I feel like might as well close out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Cool.
I don't think
All
I have
right. Well,
anything to add.
sweet. Well, as we said before, hit us up in the comments with any suggestions on things. Like, share, subscribe, please. All that stuff is good and helpful, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Peace.
Later, taters.